It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
And along with Fletcher and myself, of course, Ryder's in the house. And it is really nice to be with you guys on a Friday morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Yes.
We've got a lot to get into today. Make no mistake, we will discuss a big show last night at the big football stadium. But first things first, we need to kick off the day with a little bit of something we call Feelin' Minnesota. The headlines, the things you need to know. Paul Fletcher, just dive in, baby. Both feet, go.
Just right now?
Go.
Okay, go. Okay, sorry. This is a good one. I don't understand this. You know what? KFC just doesn't want to be in your kitchen anymore. They want to be in your bathroom. The chicken people.
They are in my bathroom about 2 hours after I eat dinner.
Well, they're going to be maybe in your bathroom in multiple ways then. The chicken people have partnered with His Smile to release KFC toothpaste, which is inspired by their 11 herbs and spices.
Wow.
It's available on the His Smile website for $13, and here's the craziest part of this. It's selling out.
KFC toothpaste, of course it's selling out. I mean, if it actually tastes like that chicken and it's actual toothpaste, I tell you right now. What?
No.
No?
No.
Now that it's like medical, like toothpaste, do they have to put the 11 herbs and spices on there?
Can they call it?
Do they have to cough up the recipe?
Can they actually call it chicken? Because, there's always that rumor that they went to KFC because they couldn't prove it was actually chicken. Just a ugly rumor. I guarantee you, if this stuff is made available in the United Kingdom, they will never have it on the shelves. They're mad for KFC. Anecdotally, let me tell you something. No one loves KFC more than the Brits. I'm just saying.
Really?
And this is a great opportunity to make a bad joke about dental hygiene in the United Kingdom. I'm not going to do that. It's low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying this. If you show me an Englishman, I'm going to show you a man who 2 drinks in starts looking for a KFC.
Not the fish and chips?
No, that's for tourists now. They jumped on the KFC train a long time ago.
I'm going to be selfish for 1 second. I want Mint to get the KFC out of my teeth. I don't want KFC to get the KFC out of my teeth.
Anybody here ever meet Colonel Sanders? Oh, I did. That's right. In 7th grade.
Of this.
Oh, handshake. Yeah. It was like meeting Elvis or Paul McCartney for me at that age. I could not believe it.
I was going to say, pardon the pun, but was it a bucket list item for you?
Wow. I didn't even realize it was until it became one. I was like,
I bet.
Yeah, I can die happily. I shook the Colonel's hand.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, I don't want to tangent here, but it's weird how you can meet somebody or experience something that is not like a massive star or whatever, but to you it's like, oh my God, this is the greatest
it
thing.
is a massive.
Well, no,
the Colonel is a massive star.
It's not someone you wake up and think, I wonder if I'll ever meet the Colonel. But it's like the moon. It's just always there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to shake the moon's hand. You're feeling pretty different after that. I was changed. I was charged. It was shortly before his death, so I got in right under the wire.
Wow. Well, good for you that you got that in there before.
Pretty special.
Okay, I'm done.
You're done? Well, then, my God, let's get on to some sports. A few things in the world of sport of note. The Minnesota Timberwolves last night went down to Memphis and beat the snot out of the Grizzlies. Thankfully, there are now 6 teams within 2 games of each other in the Western Conference standings. Everybody's got 2 more games, today and Sunday. And this is going to be a very, very wild finish in a very, very wild West. Not unlike, you know what it is? It's like the Glenn Ross scene. Alec Baldwin says, first place, you get a car. Second place, steak knives. And third place, you're fired. That's the Western Conference right now. 6 teams, all with a lot to play for. And by the way, the 6 teams battling it out for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th seed, 7, 8, those teams feature LeBron James, Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, Ja Morant, and Anthony Edwards. A lot of superstars playing games that really matter this weekend in the NBA. The Wild are at Calgary tonight. Let's go, fellas. And then finally, the Masters picked up the pace yesterday. Very exciting day. Rory McIlroy, this is his year. It's it. Yesterday, he was amazing for 14 holes. And then he went full tin cup with an aggressive approach on 15. Ball got wet. Confidence shattered. He limped into the clubhouse with an even par round, which 99.9% of the planet would be thrilled with. But boy, Augusta is in his head as per usual. If he comes in today even 3 or 4 under, it will be a massive victory in setting up his weekend.
At some point, I want to tell you my tin cup story. It's not for right now, but I got to tell you my tin cup story sometime.
Write it down, Chief. Add it to the list. Justin Rose is your clubhouse leader, 7 under. Justin Rose now holds the all-time record for most times leading after one day at the Masters. He has passed Jack Nicklaus 7 times. He's been the day one leader. Wow. Of course, he's never slipped on a green jacket.
Well,
so it's like
that.
let's tamp down our expectations. And finally, probably the biggest story of the day involves a 21-year-old Spanish amateur named Jose Luis Ballester, who on the 13th hole recognized the fact that, well, we don't have a lot of time in between holes, and nature is calling. And, well, hey, there's a creek, the very famous Rays Creek. And what did Jose Luis Ballester do?
He didn't.
He walked over.
He didn't.
Oh, yeah. He let the Spanish dragon out and went for and just took a leak right on the course. He's talking about it afterwards.
I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like real loud, so that was kind of funny. It was not embarrassing at all for me, so if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
What he's saying, the loudest clap I got, his loudest round of applause was from fans watching him pee into Rays Creek.
Did he actually go into the water?
No, he stood right at the side of it. He didn't go into the water himself.
Have you never peed in a creek, Fletcher?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, creek? No, I haven't. I mean, I would have just peed into the grass.
That's got to be the difference between a professional and an amateur is the pros know how to do it and not get caught.
Let me tell you something. You don't pee on the grass at Augusta. You find a body of water and pee into that. At least he knew. At least he had that's proper course protocol. That's something Bobby Jones put into the books back in the 30s, I'm sure.
Nice.
I'm just saying it's possible. Hey, there's your sports headlines for the day.
Probably
Want to
possible.
say good morning to our friends in St. Anthony? Just a stone's throw north of where we're sitting right now. St. Anthony, glad to have you with us. I'm sure you all know what to do with that information. So next time you buy a concert ticket, I know what you're thinking. You got to get online. You got to go through all the fees. But still, at some point, you're thinking to yourself, I mean, why do these tickets cost so damn much? And then it's generally going to cross to your mind where you go, God, why do these guys need to charge me so much? You may be surprised at how much the artist you're paying for actually takes home. Radiohead, a band who's had great success on the road over the years, so much success that they don't tour that much. They don't feel the need to. For most artists, however, most of the bands that we all love and go see, they're on the road full time because they really have to be. And you think to yourself, well, I mean, my God, how many tickets do you have to sell to turn a profit? The answer might very well surprise you. Because, boy, you talk about the haves and the have-nots. That's the music industry. There used to be a very vibrant, healthy, what you would call middle class. Theater bands could go make a wonderful living playing theaters. That's kind of way in the rear view these days. You're either arenas and stadiums or you're just fighting it out for the scraps. There's a band called Something Corporate, and they have offered a breakdown of what they do on the road in terms of live music.
Okay.
They played a recent concert. Tickets went for about $70. Now, the face value, the band set the price at $56. Where does the $70 come from? Well, $14 in fees and nonsense that get tacked on. We're all familiar with the fees from Ticketmaster, et cetera, et cetera. It's a crock. It might make the experience easier if you don't give a crap how much you pay, but otherwise it's kind of tough to deal with those fees.
They're all made-up fees. That's the part that's so hard to swallow.
100%. So you've got a $56 ticket immediately bumps to $70. So, okay, 70,000 tickets. So at that price, the show in question, there was a chance for the band to generate potential of $200,000.
Off of one show?
From one show.
Okay.
Right off the top, the venue was taking almost a little over half that, $104,000 in fees related to the venue. Now,
that's all the people that work there too, though, right?
That's the entire staff. You think about how many people are actually on the payroll for a gig at a venue. I mean, you just go to First Avenue.
Yeah.
A minimum a dozen people getting paid to be there. But it's far more. But I'm saying, but
I would say more like probably 30 people. You got the bartenders, you got all the security. You
got 5 people at the door alone just at First Ave.
So if it's a theater, just keep going that. So now you get under $100,000. The band doesn't take their cut because they have an agent's commission. They have a manager's commission. There's fees. There's payroll for the band's own crew. Long story short, the band makes a profit of about $10 a ticket. That's what's left over. Off a $70 ticket for this one band.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's insane. There's a huge difference between generating money and earning money. A lesson I learned for years and years and years on the road. Never will complain about making a living playing music, because the minute you pay your bills as a musician, you have won the lottery.
For sure.
Because 99.9% of everybody who ever picked up that instrument can't say they've done that.
Right.
That said, there's a big disconnect between what people assume you're making and what you're actually making. Unless, of course, like I said, there's that line you get to where suddenly, the difference between when you see a band that does like 3 nights in a theater.
Yeah.
Versus a band that does 1 night in the arena. Trust me, the band that's doing 3 nights has a lot of repeat customers. The guys in the arena come in, you set up once, you break it down once, you get you get the same numbers, but it's different people. And then there's just this magic line you cross where suddenly just add a 0 to what you thought you were going to make. And most people never get there. If you're not selling out arenas, you're still fighting for scraps. It's the modern reality of touring musicians.
And some of those fees would go away when you do a 3-night stand in a theater, right? Because you're gonna cut down on some of those costs because you're not loading in and loading out multiple times. That's true. But you've got union. If it's a union hall, you got all the union guys there every single night. The idea of just 1 load in, 1 load out for 7 times the number of people. That's a big difference. You start talking about arena shows versus theaters, stadium shows versus arenas. Yeah, it trust me, do the math. Like AC/DC right now, and we'll recap a little Akadak at the stadium last night. How many shows are on their North American tour? It's under 20.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Where historically they would come and play 60 arena shows.
Right.
Trust me, the math adds up where it's like, well, if we can just get in and get out and just do 20 of these stadiums, it might be the same number of tickets, but your costs are so far down. Nowhere near the number of hotel rooms, nowhere near the number of flights, nowhere near the number of days you have to pay your crew.
Yeah.
The band playing fewer, bigger shows, that's when they're taking home all the cake. And the AC/DC guys, they've been eating cake for a long time, so they're doing just fine.
And they deserve it, too,
Of course they do. How
Yeah.
many hours of our lives have they given us where we're like, yeah, I need to hear that song again.
Oh, yeah.
And to quote the great Angus Young, when accused of rewriting the same 8 songs over and over and over, he said, that's an insult. I rewrite the same 6 songs over and over and over. And
But
by
they're so
God,
freaking good.
they are. Well, yeah. I mean, when you stumble into greatness, hang on to it. You know what I'm saying?
I was just gonna say, who cares? That's what I was gonna add
That's
to
exactly
that. Yeah,
right.
who cares? Who gives a rip?
And again,
As long as
I'm
you do it
not
right.
suggesting we should feel sorry for anybody making a living touring around the world playing music, but just don't assume that the person that you're seeing on stage is walking home feeling like they got a fat check coming to them that night, because more often than not, far more often than not, that just ain't the case.
I don't think I'm not personally feeling sorry for them. I don't think anybody really is, but it's eye-opening. To see 70 whittled, 70 that you wanted to be 56 whittled down to 10 is insane.
Everybody. I've had this conversation a million times. Anybody that has quote unquote made it, which is to say, again, my idea of making it is you just make your living playing music.
Sure.
If they knew what was ahead of them when they dropped out of college, when they bought that guitar, when they decided to go for it, would they have still gone for it? And the answer is, of course, no. No, God, no. Ignorance is absolutely bliss, especially for the wannabe rock musician. 651-989-ROCK. That is the KQ Talking text line. Did you see AC/DC last night? If so, what do you got for us? 651-989-ROCK. Let us know your thoughts on the show. The opening of the North American tour at US Bank Stadium last night. I first saw AC/DC. That was a band. That was a band that I waited forever to see. At least that's what it felt like when I was younger.
Sure.
I saw them first in 1988. So that's funny to say now, but in 1988, it was like, I can't believe I've never seen AC/DC. And when I finally did, they opened with their hit on that record. The single was Heat Seeker.
Okay.
And they traditionally will open with the hit of the moment. Nowadays, that's not exactly the case. If you want Blood, of course, again, take your pick. What do you want them to open with? But they came out, they opened with Heat Seeker, and I remember thinking, man, they're not kidding around. They just give you the immediate hit first and foremost, and bang. And it was that same feeling of 3 songs in, I was like, well, is it going to get better? And then somehow it does.
How do we go up from here? Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Well, to your guys' point, too, of just how deep the catalog is, Thunderstruck is just inconspicuously played. It was 5th. That's just the 5th song they played that night. Most bands would be lucky to play a song like that live.
Of course. Oh, no, it just fits right there in the middle along with all the other ones.
Highway to Hell, just 10th. You know what? Hey, you know what? Here's Highway to Hell.
1991, on Monsters of Rock tour in Europe, my band, the Black Crowes, we opened on that tour in August and September 91. AC/DC headlined. And they would go on right after Metallica, that's when the Black Album came out. So Metallica is, at that moment, in August of 91, Metallica is clearly ascending to biggest rock band on the planet. They're on their way. And by the time that touring cycle finished, they were there and they've never relented. So they're right there as it's happening. They're going from, this is a huge band to this is the hugest band.
Yes.
And after the first night of that tour, they come out, they open with Enter Sandman. And you see a stadium of people go, it was Donington actually, the Castle Donington. And I'm watching on the side of the stage. I mean, we played at like 3 in the afternoon. We're long since done before Metallica plays. And I'm watching that and I'm thinking, nobody could possibly follow this because the crowd is so insane for Metallica. I mean, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is how dumb I am in 1991. I'm like, I kind of feel bad for AC/DC. They have to try to get up and then of course, AC/DC comes out and they open with Thunderstruck, which was their single at the time. And in one note, I mean, 1 second of that, 80,000 people went, Metallica, screw them. Oh my God, it's AC/DC.
Yes.
And every night of that tour, it was the same thing. And I remember, and I've seen AC/DC many times since, and it is true, nobody comes out and just beats the bejesus out of their audience with the first song like AC/DC.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible to see.
And Thunderstruck, too. Like, the roar of the crowd as soon as Angus starts playing the solo.
I bet.
It was very much the Angus Young and Brian Johnson show.
Of course.
Which it should be.
Yeah.
And, I think there was some first night of the tour kind of technical, like, in the middle of Have a Drink on Me. The monitors went out. The whole crowd goes, aww. The devil horns everywhere. Just making the entire bowl sparkle with those little red lights.
So great.
It was a hell of a night, and I only made it halfway through.
651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. If you were at the show and want to share your thoughts with us, please do.
Yeah.
Michelle texted in phenomenal, as much fun as when I saw them 44 years ago.
Wow.
And that really is, I mean, just take that right there. Like, you saw them, that would be the AC/DC tour. The Back in Black tour 44 years ago. And here they are still doing it. That is absolutely incredible.
Did you see what they closed with?
It's the traditional closer.
Always the Cannons for those about to rock.
Is there a better closing song in rock and roll? I mean, I can't think of a song that's better than that to close a show with. Obviously, there's only one band that gets to do it, but
I think there's a lot of favorite things about AC/DC, but those Cannons, those are the same Cannons from 1983. The bell for Hell's Bell, it's the same bell since they keep. It's this the blow up, whole lot of Rosie. All those, it's always the same stuff. And I'm always thinking, like, when the tour ends and that stuff has to go into storage somewhere, at some point, some production dude's been like,
what if I just take it
I'm
home?
going to steal that bell. Yes. I'm going to take that bell. Make no mistake about it. A lot of bucket list bands we've all had. I had one. I saw them a long time ago before I fully appreciated it. The Cure, I saw them last year at the XL Energy Center. Ryder, you were there. I saw them in the 90s once. A fun fact, I was just too drunk to appreciate it. That's how those things happen.
Yeah.
So to finally see them in a state of mind where I could fully take in the show was pretty special. When you've waited to see a certain artist forever and ever, and you finally do, it can be the greatest night of your life, or it can be the absolute worst. I have way more success stories than bad ones, where I'm looking really forward to it. The first time I saw Prince was in 1994. And again, that seems like, lucky me. But in 1994, I couldn't believe it took that long to see Prince.
Sure.
And I saw him at Paisley Park at a private event during the NBA All-Star Weekend here in February 94. And it was... Not only was it worth the wait, it went right to the top of the list of greatest gigs I've ever seen. And there's never been a competitor. It still sits alone.
I thought you put that on its own.
That's what I mean.
It's alone, and then you're making another list.
That's exactly what it is. It's like there's nothing can ever possibly touch that for a variety of reasons. The biggest reason was, it was Prince, and he's incredible. So I had that going for me. AC/DC, 1988, first time I saw him. By the way, if you saw AC/DC last night and want to share your thoughts, please Call or text at any time, 651-989-ROCK. I imagine there were an awful lot of people in that stadium who were seeing AC/DC for the first time.
I mean, people brought their whole family.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taken my kids to see AC/DC on 2 different occasions. Similar to the first, I took my son to see Kiss once, and I was surprised that I was surprised by how many father-son combinations I saw, father-daughter combinations. Whole families dressed as Kiss with the makeup.
Yes.
When you go to see AC/DC, you see a ton of generations there now. And it's funny, too, because if anybody remembers, your favorite songwriter, If You Want Blood, that's the name of the live album from the late 70s. When that album was in stores, you know, you get the famous cover shot. It's like the guitarist stabbing Angus, you know, and it's a hilarious thing. He's been killed. He's been impaled on his own guitar. I remember looking at that album cover and being like, oh my God, this is scary music. And, you know, they had songs about hell, and people were telling their children, people like my mom, you can't listen to that music. That's devil-worshipping music.
Yes.
And now, you know, 50 years later, it's like sons and grandsons and daughters and granddaughters going, oh, my grandparents love AC/DC. It's just funny how that's changed.
Putting up the horns, putting up the devil
hell yeah.
horns.
They're just, it's like, I don't want to say that the meaning of the songs is gone, but the meaning of the songs is kind of gone. It's changed. They're just anthems now. It's not so much.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not.
Well, it wasn't actual. Highway to Hell's not about hanging out with Satan for an eternity.
It's about hanging out at a bar, right?
Well, pretty much, or being in a van on tour. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
You know, there's a million different stories you've heard about what that means. One thing it doesn't mean is hell.
Correct.
That would be that's artistic license being shown right there.
I don't think TNT is actually about blowing something up.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it just occurred to me.
So the bands you wait forever to see, who have you still not seen that you're like, I got to see these guys one day. I got to see that band. Is there anyone out there?
I've had less than 10 hours to think about who my new one is, Steve. I don't think
that was
that's
the one.
fair.
You crossed that off the list?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you a couple days to think about that.
I mean, I feel like I mentioned this earlier in the week or last week, but I still want to go see the Adam Lambert led Queen just to take in that music, because and I don't really kick myself for it, because I was never this is going to be crazy, but I was never a huge Queen fan.
Right.
Like I've had a lot of like late life like wake up call or epiphanies to a lot of different artists, right? And Queen is one of them. Fallen in love with them over the last 5 to 10 years. So there's that. I think that would probably be mine. I mean, we're lucky enough getting to do, you know, what you did, and I mean, even on the radio side, you get to go to pretty much any show you want to. So I've gotten to see most of everybody I've wanted to.
Oh, sure. It's always worth seeing Queen just to go see Brian May. I mean, you know, he's one of those guys, and 100%. If you can,
well, and Adam Lambert's legit, man. I mean, I'm not saying he's Freddie Mercury, but that dude.
Oh no, he can wail.
Yeah.
It's an unenviable position to be the guy doing Freddie Mercury.
I just want Brian May to give us an astrophysics lesson right in the middle of the show.
He could certainly do that. He could certainly do that. Wow, no one jumped on the whole unenviable position to be the guy doing Freddie Mercury. Okay, it's a Friday morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We're feeling Minnesota, which means we're going to let you in on some headlines very, very soon.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
It's a Friday afternoon. It's April the 11th. Good God Almighty!
Did you just say it's a Friday afternoon?
It's after. I've been up for hours. It's my afternoon. It's lunchtime around here. Come on, man.
Almost time for some hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, here we go. The king of the hard-boiled eggs is back in business. It's time, as we are sitting here all feeling Minnesota, it's time for some headlines, Paul Fletcher. What's happening in the world?
Minnesota drivers are being warned about the new wave of fraudulent messages claiming to come from the official Easy Pass program, or MnDOT.
I got that. My daughter got that.
I got one of them, too.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This was news. I saw this like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Before we were back to doing our thing, and then it kind of just died down. Well, it's coming back up again, so MnDOT wants to make sure that everybody knows this is a scam, friends. The text and email messages are being sent across the state, falsely claiming the recipient owes money for tolls and must be paid immediately through a link provided. But don't be fooled. MnDOT says these messages are fake. Clicking the links could put your personal and financial information at risk. Don't buy it.
My daughter sent a screenshot to me and Rosemary and said, "Hey, this is a scam, right?" Just of the text she got.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, that Easy Pass, that number, by the way, that country code is from the Philippines. 60 is like +63." And I had to Google it. I didn't know that offhand, but I was like, "Yeah, I don't think the Philippines are running Easy Pass in the state of Virginia." So don't click on the link.
Even there too, huh? I tell you what, the people that do this are some of the lowest form of humanity on the planet.
I've gotten it here myself. So I said no. I got it the other day myself. The one that freaks me out
is... Do you even have Easy Pass?
No.
I don't.
No, I don't.
So how are they getting this number?
It's just data breach. It's just,
it's just
I mean, a few months ago, I started getting spam emails, hundreds and hundreds every single day. And then a letter in the mail comes from AT&T saying, we had a data breach. Your information may have been leaked. I'm like, thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden, I'm getting offers for this. Well, one thing actually kind of helps with the old shoulder arthritis. But otherwise, it was a whole bunch of penile implants and things I don't need.
That's... at least you have those emails coming in if you ever do need that.
Or I should say I don't want. Okay, there.
Fair.
I said it.
Okay, fair enough.
Next.
All right, do you guys have your thinking caps on?
Rarely.
I'm not a hats person.
Do you have it handy?
Bring
Sure.
it. Bring
Here
it
we
on.
go. NASA has provided new analysis.
Pi. The answer's pi. 3.1416.
It's not,
No?
actually.
Cherry pie.
But NASA has...
cherry pie?
It's close.
Generally,
You're getting closer.
usually.
Yeah. They've got their first observation of a planet being swallowed by a star. Located 12,000 light years from Earth, the star was observed brightening in 2020, possibly suggesting it was growing into a red giant and subsuming a Jupiter-sized planet in its orbit. This is even hard to read. It's so
All I
chunky.
can picture is Pac-Man.
Fair.
Eating up the planet.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
Okay, that's a good analogy. This is the same process by which Earth is expected to be subsumed by our sun. That's like 5 billion years from now, so don't worry about it. Now, new observations from the powerful James Webb Telescope, that thing's a wonder, by the way, indicate the planet did not brighten enough to indicate expansion into a red giant. Instead, the planet's orbit got smaller over millions of years until it fell into the star's atmosphere and was swallowed.
Man, on a similar note, I went outside last night and I saw the moon. I seriously, that's where my brain goes with space. I lose it immediately. My wife will watch anything you put in front of her about the stars, about the nebula,
Same.
about this. A planet was eaten by a star. Oh, she's not getting off the couch. And I look at her and go, what the hell are you even paying attention to? I can't even, I have a hard time following rugby, for God's sakes, and it's not that far off from football and soccer. But no, she wants to talk about stars and planets and galaxies. It makes no sense to me.
Here, I'm gonna say this the story again really quick.
Yeah. Man, it's
that
impressive.
makes as much sense, doesn't it?
I'm very. By the way, I'm a big fan of the people who do keep up with this stuff. I'm a big fan of science, because I sit in awe at the fact that anybody's figured out how to make a telescope. A, any type of telescope is impressive to me. B, one that shows things like this, like the Webb telescope. I'm like, man, we are not the same species. There's me, a guy that really likes nachos, and then there's the guy putting that telescope together.
Yeah, we got to give more props to the nerds.
Man, isn't that the truth?
There's a James Webb Telescope, a documentary on Netflix about how they put it together and what they had to go through. There's like a super fragile screen involved on that telescope that they had to somehow launch on top of a rocket that's going to shake like the bejesus, right?
Yeah.
Into space. And it's fascinating, and to see the success of that.
I can't wait to watch the first 7 minutes of that.
Maybe you can watch more than 7 minutes of this. It's apparently been rumored since 2021, and now it's happening. Saturday Night Live is going British. An all-British version of NBC Saturday Night Live is coming next year, with the show creator Lorne Michaels acting as executive producer. Just now? This is confirmed by Sky, the
Talk
UK
about
broadcaster.
Now, that is one hell of a master plan. I'm going to put together a show. We'll fly by the seat of our pants. We won't really know what we're doing. We'll figure it out eventually. I'll do 50 seasons, and then I'll take it to Britain. My God, that is incredible. I mean, I'm being serious.
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. 50 years in, and then now it makes sense to take that thing to Great Britain. Lorne Michaels, king of the universe.
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys worry about your phone's battery level, just generally speaking?
No.
I don't. But, again, my wife, obsessed with the battery level at all times on our phone.
Well, according to very important new research, it's almost as important as the stuff that the James Webb Telescope is doing, I would say. There is a panic percentage. Can you guys, you want to take a guess at what that number might be? The panic percentage of the average person.
23%.
When you see your battery at a certain level, you freak out.
When they start panicking, what percentage do people start panicking?
My wife looks at it the way she looks at the gas tank, which is anything under 50%. You better go ahead and top it off.
Mr. Ryder, too.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? If you average those two out, you're about right. The average person starts to worry about their phone's charge at 38%. 34% of people say they don't get concerned until the battery falls below 20% or when they get the warning on their device.
That's the only time I'm ever aware of my battery is when it says you're under 20. Yeah. And then I love to see how long I can go. Dim the screen, close the apps.
Yes.
It's amazing how much streaming content you can listen to without draining the battery. I push that to the limit at all times. My phone dies on a regular basis because I refuse to be consumed with it. And then, of course, as soon as it's dead, I'm like, oh my God, where's the charger? But I don't panic until after the fact.
I want to start playing this game with you. I freaking love this idea.
All right, let's see. Where am I right now? I am, I'm pretty, I charged it overnight, so I'm still at 79%.
Do you regularly charge it overnight? Like, I just plug mine in when I go to bed, or I put it on a stand.
I have a plug there, and probably half the time I remember to plug it in, and half the time I don't. It's just never become a priority for me.
Ryder, let's bookmark this, and we can just start doing a quick thing every morning, like, where's Steve's battery? I mean, just because I'm curious.
I can tell you, those moments of it's dead and I don't have a charger, though, when I look back, those are the best times of the day. I used to love getting on an airplane more than anything because I thought to myself, the minute that door closes, no one can get a hold of me until this bad boy goes and lands somewhere else. And then, I mean, the first time I was ever on a plane and they said, we have Wi-Fi, I wanted to go, why have you ruined this experience for all of us? Because then immediately everyone's on Wi-Fi the whole flight.
I think that's why they call it Wi-Fi.
Oh, man, it's
sorry.
Bunch of horse crap.
Hey, by the way, rosemary falls into 24% of Americans. They start to worry about it when it drops below 50%, just so you know. She's not alone.
Minnesota Timberwolves in some sports highlights, headlines, blew out the Grizzlies last night. That's a good thing. They're now in a tie for 6th place in the West. Check this out. Timberwolves, Grizzlies, Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, Warriors, all within 2 games of each other.
Wow.
In the standings, there are 2 games left in the regular season. The weekend of the NBA, tonight's games and Sunday's games, all massively impactful. If you want to see what people look like when their backs are against the wall, tune into some basketball this weekend. The Wild are at Calgary tonight. We're certainly hoping for the best. They have a couple games left before we see where they shake out in the postseason.
Hey, Calgary is the team directly below the Wild, so you got to get this one.
Very important game.
It's probably a done deal.
Freaking clock, though.
It's a Friday.
9 o'clock, yeah.
The Masters kicked off yesterday. It's Rory McIlroy's year, or at least it was for 14 holes. He got a little aggressive on 15, put one in the drink. Still came in at par, but this was the year. The consensus was if Rory's ever going to win it, it's going to be this year. Oops, he got a little out over his skis on 14. Justin Rose, your clubhouse leader, at 7 under. He now holds the all-time record for most first days atop the leaderboard. That is yet to translate into a green jacket. Lovely fella, Justin Rose. Let's see if he can pull it together by Sunday. And then finally, Spanish amateur Jose Luis Ballester won the day by peeing in Rays Creek, the famous waterway on the backside. He had to take a leak. He forgot about the fact that there are bathrooms on the course. And, well, he did what any self-respecting Spanish amateur would do, and he talked about it afterwards.
I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like real loud, so that was kind of funny. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me, so if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
I love it.
I'd do it again.
He's just shaking it off. Well, he shook it off, and now he's shaking it off.
Who needs a green jacket when you can get a golden shower?
Wow. And there it is. Rogers, Minnesota, the home of the golden shower. No. Rogers, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us this morning. Very, very happy to have our friends in Rogers with us. If this kid had recognized the fact that maybe the Masters is jumping on the new trend of designing some really, really nice new splash-free urinals, maybe he wouldn't have thought to desecrate the the holy grounds at Augusta. Let's talk about new urinals, shall we?
It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
The car's right there, you might think. The car's out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. Just seeing if anyone's paying attention. I love watching Ryder's head snap like, what?
What are you talking about, Willis?
Sorry, I always confuse St. Cloud with Boston.
Yeah, two are confusing for sure. Rick Ocasek's a genius. Just want to say that.
Wow.
The man behind the Blue album, I agree.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, is he not? Was he not? I mean, his was, whatever. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's my modern lens, but I can't get past the fact that he was 38 and Paulina was 18. I was like, dude, you're a creep.
Well, in that regard, I'm just talking about the music.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And you know what?
Once I had an 18-year-old daughter, I started looking at a whole lot of things differently.
Oh,
like,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
What can I say?
I love the songs.
These things happen. No. I've always said that the Cars' debut album, if you didn't know better, you'd think it was a greatest hits. It's kind of like, you guys just started with that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this next story during that break because I, as I do oftentimes, thought to myself, you know what? I'm just going to go take a leak. And then I thought to myself, I wonder how I could improve the urinal situation in the world. Actually, I've never thought that once in my life. But I have thought to myself, it's kind of gross in here. And that's because, generally speaking, men's urinals, for the ladies that don't know this, there's a lot of splashback.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with, urinals are fascinating because I've never used one.
Right.
Yeah.
I was really hoping you'd say because I can't help but use them, and I always find. No, it's a weird bit of a business here. At best, microscopic droplets spray out of urinals beyond the fixture onto floors. And a whole bunch of researchers, again, here we go with science and nerds, and thank God they're out there. With 56 million urinals in non-residential settings in the United States, researchers were like, you know what? We estimate more than 350,000 liters of urine splash onto floors every day in America. Every day. And those droplets are breeding grounds for bacteria, and it's just nasty. I mean, it's just really gross. And so a bunch of these smarty pants guys in their white lab coats are like, how do we stop the splashback coming out of the urinals? They've designed a couple of new urinals, and chances are you'll be seeing these pretty soon. The Cornucopia and the Nautilus.
I love the names.
They have great names. The Cornucopia especially. Yeah. Really, really fantastic. What they discovered is, if you're peeing and your urine hits a surface at less than 30 degrees, you can eliminate 95% of splashback. Yes. Which begs the question, who's still getting splashback in the what kind of bladder problems, or I should say power, do you have if you're going to get splashback at the new urinal designs? They're using that critical angle. The surface has to be less than 30 degrees to eliminate splashing. And they're saying if we can present this and get widespread adoption of the new design, we're going to prevent 1 million liters of urine from splashing onto the floors around here every day.
What do these look like?
So gross.
They look like, you know what? The first one I saw,
a teacup.
There's that one. The one that really jumped out at me. It's called the Cornucopia. It looks like something you could climb into if need be.
A capsule.
It's a triangle. Shaped opening on a very large porcelain fixture that it makes me think of several things. One, you could climb in there and take a nap. It looks like a Joey's pouch on the front of a kangaroo.
That's great. Yeah.
It also looks like this will be weird. Just stick with me for a second.
Okay.
Lenny Kravitz. Bit of a pop rock star guy
with the mesh shirt.
Mesh guy and the big scarves and the 12-pack abs.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz used to tour with a steam pod. He took it everywhere he went, and it was like a little one-man steam room, and it would close. It looks just like the Cornucopia. I could see Lenny Kravitz climbing in there for a steam and peeing splash-free at the same time.
Your kangaroo pouch is actually a great analogy.
Yeah.
And we can call this the piss pouch.
Okay, so if you two walk into a men's restroom and
all four of them or just Bono? See what I did there? Sorry, go ahead.
And you see this new designed urinal, and you see just a traditional one. Are you trying out the new one?
Absolutely.
Are you still going for Old Faithful?
No, I'm always looking for a new place to pee.
Okay.
So I would try out either the Cornucopia or the Nautilus.
I'm going for the Cornucopia for sure, and it's not only the angle, but it looks like it's fairly deep.
Yeah,
and so
it does.
The pee-pee is going to go down there instead of back against me.
I do know this. If you see this cornucopia, and again, it's a bit tough to describe, but just suffice to say, if you get splashback or leakage from this, you need to see a doctor.
I think that's more than fair.
You're peeing out of more than one spot, is what I'm saying.
What does the nautical one look like?
The Nautilus looks like it looks like kind of like what does that look like? Like a ski? Looks like a snowshoe. It's very tall. Yeah. It's very open, but it just has it's got a much larger space that you can aim for.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a standard urinal, but it goes all the way to the ground. It's like a floor to ceiling window instead of just a nice mid room window.
Snuck into boys' bathrooms and have seen urinals that do go all the way to the floor. Are those thumbs up or thumbs down?
Generally speaking, I would think they're thumbs up because you got a much larger target to try to go for.
Okay.
Well, and you can shoot down instead of straight across. You know what I mean? It's the meathead that just goes like, I gotta go so bad, and so it comes out in a solid stream, and he directs it directly across from him. Yeah. That's where all the blowback's coming. If you aim that thing down, that's.
I went to a basketball game when I was a kid, a college game. I was probably 7th or 8th grade, and I was in a big gymnasium at this arena I'd never been to before. And in the middle of the men's room, they had a fountain to wash your hands. And the way it was set up, was you would step up to a circular fountain, and there was a ring on the floor. You put your foot, you activated the water the water from a foot. There was, foot pedals.
Pedal. Yes,
the pedal.
We had one at my elementary school.
Okay, so you know what I'm describing. I'm not painting a perfect picture, but you would then stick your hands under and the water would come out. And me as a 7th grader, I had never seen that particular piece of plumbing before. I thought it was a urinal. I stepped up and peed into the place you're supposed to wash your hands. And no one stopped me. No one corrected me. I was, in fact, across the fountain from a guy who was using it correctly, and he was watching me pee into the thing you're supposed to wash your hands and never said a word. And I was like, wow. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to look at a kid and go, yo, not here.
No, wait. So the one that was at the elementary school I went to, when you push that foot pedal, the entire water fountain. So he came up, pushed the thing, you're peeing, and then the water starts coming out.
Yeah. It was one of those moments that.
And is that when it clicked with you, or was it later?
No, it definitely clicked, but I was midstream. I was like, I'm just gonna get out of here and run away, and that's what I did. I didn't wash my hands. I just zipped up and got out of there.
They must have determined very quickly that I haven't seen one of those in a long time. They must have said, you know what? There's no reason to run all of this water for one set of hands.
I think they did kind of come up with that eventually. Yeah, they certainly did.
That's a waste, a ton of waste.
I now that we're talking about interesting urinal situations, I also this is within the last 10 years, so this is not a proud moment. Got off a flight that was long delayed, landed at about 1 a.m. and it had a few on the plane. And I stepped off the plane and I was walking down an empty concourse and I had to pee like as the old saying, like a Russian racehorse. And I walked right into the restroom and went, well, this is weird. All they have is stalls. And I went into the first stall and peed and walked out, and dawned on me that yes, I was in the women's room at a very large metropolitan airport, and thankfully not one other person was in there the whole time I was there, because again it was like 1 a.m.
I've done that before too. I don't recall the exact situation. I was not toasty. I just wasn't paying attention. I walked in. There's a gal walking out. I just went, oh my God, like audibly loud. Oh my God! Turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
So sorry.
These things happen.
Yeah, it does.
But it was definitely a moment when I walked out and I had the 2 or 3 second walk of shame, because when I left the women's room, there were people in a concourse and I was convinced they were all staring at me like, what is wrong with this person? Sorry, ladies. Anybody flying in on that flight from Detroit that night? It's one of those things. It happens.
It does happen.
651-989 Rock is the KQ talk and text line. A couple things we were discussing today. And that is, A, if you saw the AC/DC concert last night and you want to share any thoughts with us, we welcome that. And B, how long do you let the battery on your phone go down to? I don't care. Let that bad boy empty out for all I care. I mean, the sooner my battery dies, the sooner you can't contact me. A lot of people, we mentioned earlier, are really starting to sweat the phone batteries. If your battery goes below, what did we say, 38%? Was it 38%?
Yeah, 38%. That's the panic percentage.
I I never look at my battery until it says below 20, and then I pay attention, but only to see how long I can sustain it. It's like a challenge every time. There's 2 challenges in life that I can't outgrow no matter how much I try. And the first one is seeing if I can finish my pee and flush before the flush. You know, you stand there, you flush the toilet, start to pee, and you're like, can see if I can force it all out before the flush ends. And I'm still 0 for 106 million because it just doesn't work. But I try every time.
You know what? And I think that shows your perseverance, really. I mean, you're like Gloria Gaynor. You'll survive.
Doing what I can.
Yeah.
Doing what I can.
Your contributions to humankind are much admired, I think, probably by everyone.
Listen, I'm just as God made me, and that's I'm a scientist by nature. My general nature is one of science, but I have no understanding of science. So it's a bit of a tough situation. Okay. But I do know this: for years, I was told, let your battery on your phone go all the way to 0 before you ever recharge it, and then it extends battery life. And apparently, that was once true.
It was once true. It's not anymore.
Back in the day, that's how the old batteries worked. Now, no longer the case.
It's kind of like electric cars. I don't know if you've seen this before. You want to operate an electric car, no matter what kind you have, between 20 and 80%.
Okay.
It's the same thing with your phone battery. But the other thing, too, now is that the batteries have gotten so much smarter. Because it used to be, too, that if you charged it fully and then left it overnight, like let's just say your phone would charge by 1 a.m. and you left it there until 6.
Right.
That would damage the battery. That's not the case anymore either.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
You can just let it sit there, and it largely it trickles it, basically, just to keep it at 100.
Yeah, I'm reading this. It says the sweet spot for a battery is 50% charge. That means half of its movable lithium ions are in the lithium cobalt oxide layer, and the other half are in the graphite layer. Okay, I saw Chernobyl. Sure. I know what happens when the graphite hits the radioactive material. This sounds like a disaster waiting to happen to me.
Yeah, when the graphite hits the fan, so
the only time I've heard cobalt and lithium in the same conversation, we had a Ukrainian meltdown in '86, and we're still trying to figure out just how bad it was. How about this? A cold battery. I've always heard this, too. You don't want your battery to get too cold. It doesn't work as well. And nowadays, it's like, no, using it in cool temperatures, it's pretty much the same. Although,
good news for us in Minnesota.
You can still overheat a phone very easily.
I wonder if when they say cold, though, what do they mean? You know what I mean? Do they mean 30 or do they mean Minnesota cold?
Probably they just mean normal cold, not Minnesota
25,
cold.
25, yeah. I mean, I don't think no battery is ready for minus 10.
Have you ever had a phone shut down because it was too hot? Have you ever seen that? It says you need to take just sitting out in the sun by the pool or by something in the summer, and I've picked up my phone and it was like, dude, get it in the shade. We're shutting you down. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, also can be it can be legitimately hot to the touch. Like I've dang near burned my hand just holding the phone.
I'm glad I just mentioned that because this is a fun fact. I was in a sauna the other day at a gym, and a guy sitting next to me, I had 2 big problems with him. One, he was on his phone the whole time. Brought his phone into the sauna.
Yeah.
2,
I love number 2.
2, wearing socks and shoes.
What?
Work does his workout and then clearly just walks in fully. He's got his shorts, his shirt, the Apple Watch, the phone, and still his socks and shoes as well. Sitting in there, and I do the sand timer, 20 minutes, and he came in right after me and sat there the whole 20 minutes in the sauna, which was cooking, fully clothed with the socks and shoes, and it was everything I could do to not look at him and say, what happened to you? Dude, what is wrong with you?
If we're dead of winter here in Minnesota and it's 0 degrees outside, if I go for a walk with shoes and socks on, my feet are sweating.
Oh, really?
I mean, I think most people are probably like to a certain degree. Your feet. I mean, and he's
I call that. So you got a case of the soup feet. That's what I call that.
That's what that is. Yeah.
My sauna life started. I'm not trying to flex here, but it's just a reality. The first time I ever got in a sauna, I was in Germany. Big sauna culture over there on tour. Every hotel you go to, they have a big spa. They have the dry sauna, the wet sauna, the cold tank, the hot tank. There's a whole system in a lot of hotels over there. And the other thing everyone does over there is everyone's naked. Not even walking around with a towel around their waist. You go to a hotel spa in Germany, it's like you're like, we're just letting it all hang. And of course, me at that age, I'm like, right on, let's go. And it was fantastic. And then it's always funny to come and I still think about it. Like I go in the sauna now, I'm not naked, but I'm just wearing a pair of shorts, or trunks or something, and a towel just to wipe my face. And I've seen several people in there, and they're taking very little off. which just boggles my mind. Especially though the footwear. I don't have sweaty feet generally, but socks and shoes in a sauna to me that's such a bridge too far.
I'm with you on this, but at the same time, maybe if they think if they're in there for the sweat, I might as well leave some clothes on and get even more sweat going. I don't know. I'm with you. Like I said, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, trying to rationalize what's going through their mind. That's all.
I had a whole run of shtick you could run, like just performance art if you have a buddy. But I was literally thinking, I should just come back in with a jacket and tie.
Yeah.
And just sit down,
a winter coat.
This is what you make me think, dude. I should just be fully clothed and ready for a black tie event.
This could become your Instagram. You just you in various attire in the sauna. It's Steve in the sauna. Steve in a sauna. A series. A series. We're onto something.
Okay, no.
Okay.
We're not onto something at all.
I would click like.
There's no shortage of people on the planet, and by which no shortage I mean all of them that don't need to see me in a sauna.
But if you're in a suit and tie, or maybe you're in maybe you get one of those with the pool accessory, like the ducky going around your midriff, if you will. A series, you just interpret it in different ways.
So just to recap, take your stinking clothes off in the sauna and don't worry about your phone battery. They've got it all figured out.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
AC/DC, speaking of omnipresent part of the fabric of rock and roll music, at the U.S. Bank Stadium last night. Ryder's first time seeing the Akadax. Jimmy and Chaska texted in, at 70 years old, I'd be lucky to be walking, let alone doing the Chuck Berry duck walk like Angus is doing.
I was amazed.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible. I was talking earlier about seeing them or being on tour with AC/DC in 1991. I turned 26 that summer. Angus turned 36 that summer, and I remember thinking, how can he still do it? At the ripe old age of 36, he's doubled that up now. He's 70, and he's still just kicking around.
Oh, yeah.
Only thing different is the gray hair. I mean, that's it. Otherwise, I mean,
still got the schoolboy uniform on?
Yep, absolutely. The greatest, I would say, let's think about Elton John wore that duck suit once, put on a Dodgers uniform, but, he changed a lot of flamboyant costumes. But has anybody carried one look through their whole career? I guess Slash has the top hat.
Yeah.
That's pretty iconic. But it's just a hat.
Yeah, he mixes up the outfit.
Yeah. The Angus schoolboy thing, jumping on that early on and just never, ever, ever wavering. Pretty fantastic.
He's still, looking at pictures, he still looks like a schoolboy.
Yeah, of course.
Because he's so diminutive to begin with, and then you throw that on him. It's I got to shout out a guy on Twitter. Andrew said, nothing like an AC/DC concert on a school night with your 9-year-old singing along to Highway to Hell. I just want to say, Andrew, you're doing things right. You're even if you give your kid the day off from school today, I believe those moments with your kids are just as important as ABC and 2 + 2.
Just as.
More important?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, well, you have to also be able to exist in society.
If missing one day of school is going to limit your kid's understanding of the alphabet, you got bigger problems than AC/DC music.
For sure.
I will say, to your point about his diminutive size, I don't think the average guy walking on the street knows just how little Angus and Malcolm were. 5 feet and 5'1". That's how tall
really?
He's
5 foot tall?
Yeah.
He's that little.
And I guarantee you less than 120 pounds at his heaviest.
He comes up to you like your belly button.
I've spent time with those two guys, and there is a photo of me that I don't have a copy of where I was standing with both of the young brothers, and I look like Andre the Giant. I look like the largest human walking the planet next to those guys. Yeah, they're Cliff Williams was the tallest member of the band at 5'8", and he towered over Angus and Malcolm. And it's even more impressive. That guitar Angus plays, that SG, that's not a huge guitar.
No.
It looks like he's walking around with a Ford Pinto around his neck, because that's how it's a phenomenal situation, or I should say phenomenal performance every night, every time. Watching him do what he does, there are a few things in life better. He is a small little, like I always say, I always had these nightmares where I'm being chased by my own personal sized tornado.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like having Angus Young chasing me around the playground at school. He's a white tornado, to be sure. Happy to be with you on a Friday morning. a post-AC/DC Friday morning, which Ryder has learned is not your normal Friday.
I don't know if happy is the word that I would use.
Yeah, but happy for the experience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't have missed it for anything.
You got it in there. I just got a text from a buddy, Mike, who went to the show, and it's a photo of Angus from the Jumbotron.
Yes.
And it just says loud and old but good. Yeah, man. Nothing quite like that. I did mention Angus Young. He's a bit of a white tornado on stage, still at the age of 70. Speaking of tornadoes, as it is April, and you know what that means, down in Arkansas, a storm chaser, a guy who works for the Fox Weather Network named Brandon Kopic, he put up a 10-hour live stream last week following a tornado, or trying to track down a tornado, I should say, in Arkansas. A 10-hour live stream of this guy doing what I could only say is, you're flirting with death. You've got some sort of bizarre death wish. Storm chasers are real, and some of them are real dumb, in my opinion. Having seen a couple tornadoes, I don't get anywhere near him. Listen to this. Here he is, beginning a little bit of audio for you for this guy. You're in Arkansas. You know the conditions are right, and you're just hoping to find something special.
Big tornado.
Hey!
Fox alert, large tornado on stream, Take my stream ASAP.
He's been looking for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Power flashes, we got power flashes.
Code for lightning.
This thing looks violent, holy crap.
You think?
This is a strong tornado. Look at the freaking vortex, the horizontal vortex.
Stay the away from this thing, guys. I'm not going to mess with it.
Fox, strong tornado on the ground. Take my feed if you aren't. Take my feed.
Stay the hell away from this thing.
Stay the hell away from this thing.
Listen to this guy. He's number one's chasing. He's got, think of the concentration required to do what he's doing. Take my feed. He's directing, giving instruction on top of not trying to get swallowed up by Mother Nature.
I one time came across a wasp nest in my house, and when I said to my wife, "It's bees," what I said was, "It's bees." Because
in the house?
And she's allergic to bee stings. It was a moment of high intensity and pressure and fear, and I hit a note that Michael Jackson would have wept with envy at. This guy's calmly going, stay the hell away. Here comes a tornado.
Am I nuts that I would want to be in the car with him?
Yes.
Yes,
you are.
But obviously things can happen. Like you said, you're tempting death.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they have a really good idea of where things are moving, and they know how to stay out of the way, and they're in heavily fortified vehicles.
Yeah.
I would love it.
A couple words for you. Siegfried and Roy. Ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them got attacked by a tiger at some point, too.
Yeah.
And they have those things doped up to the nines, and that guy still got his face ripped off.
I'm not looking to make it a career for the next 40 years. I just want to go and do it once. That's all.
I'd do a ride along. For sure. Yeah, I would.
Man, call me crazy, or call me the guy that's been in 2 tornadoes.
That's fair.
No, thank you. By the way, our buddy down in Arkansas, he's on a live stream for 10 hours telling people to stay away. He should have taken his own advice. He did get a little bit closer to the big twister.
Ari, this is a strong tornado with the horizontal vortex. This thing is at least an EF3. This is not weak. Oh, gosh. Sorry, lightning just struck right next to me. Big time tornado, strong tornado on the ground. If you guys are anywhere close to Lake City, take shelter immediately.
And then the sirens go off.
Yeah.
Don't ignore those.
Ever been really close to a lightning strike?
Yes.
Close enough like the house rattled, but not like that I felt like, oh crap, I'm about to get hit by lightning.
I was standing probably 20 feet away from a large tree that got struck by lightning one time. And man, is that not cool.
It's freaky. I don't know how close I was. I was able to see where it struck. That's I was close enough for that. Well, I lived in Omaha prior to coming back to Minnesota. I was in Omaha for 10 years. And when I first met my wife, I was into photography a little bit. And we used to chase. We didn't chase storms. We did, I guess, but not this severe. We would chase lightning. And I got a couple of decent shots. But that was so I put myself in proximity.
Let's see. 2 tornadoes, 6th grade, 8th grade. I saw one of them. The other one I didn't see, but it went very close by when I was in my friend's basement. And the rumble, the whole thing you hear about, it sounded like a freight train going by. All completely true.
Yeah.
The sky was the weird colors in the atmosphere, greens and purpley, and then birds flying helter-skelter, not making any sense. And then the pressure shift where
and
everything gets
right?
the sounds get muted. You know, it feels like you've covered your ears with your hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's I mean I can feel it right now. Like it's still it was such a charged feeling of fear when my buddy's dad, we were shooting baskets in his driveway knowing the storm's coming.
Yeah.
But you know, you're going to get every last shot you can. And then just the sound of his old man yelling at us. He's like, "Get in the house now." But it sounded like, "We're in the house now."
Yes.
You know, it's this muffled sound.
Like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah, pretty much. And we're like, and for the half second that we froze and then started sprinting into the house. And then, I mean, within 20 seconds of running down the stairs, it was just like overhead. Crazy.
We're talking about how massive this thing is. And I'm telling you, it's even more insane to watch than it is to hear us talk about it.
It's amazing.
Over at 92KQRS on our Instagram, you can see the whole thing. I put it up on our feed as a reel, so go check it out because it's wild to watch. Got about 49 seconds of it.
I watched it for way too long yesterday, like maybe a good 20 minutes
Really?
of
Wow.
me just watching this dude chase this tornado down. And the part that really got me is you see the funnel cloud coming down to the ground, and then two other funnel clouds spit out of the sides of the tornado.
Yeah.
It's those horizontal
Not cool.
funnel clouds. Steve, I thought of you immediately because I know that you have these stories. I was like, oh, crap, this is what he must have felt like.
Yeah,
You know,
not cool.
every
And
muscle clenched.
And to watch the clip that we just posted, when it's tough to like get perspective on where the funnel itself is because it's everything rain wrapped and wind, etc. But if you watch the rain, you can see the rain and the wind whipping across the street, the highway he's on.
Right.
You see it start sweeping towards his vehicle. That is just like it gave me goosebumps first time I watched it. So go check it out on our Instagram.
I've heard a lot about the tornadoes that have hit the Twin Cities area over the years. I think it was 81, the Lake Harriet one. Gets a lot of attention around here. There's certain things I know that there was a blizzard on Halloween 91. I mean, there's certain anomalies that are still,
And I won't let you forget it.
that no one will let me forget. So it's not like there's not a million tornado stories in this area as well.
We had the early helicopter coverage in 1986. There was a big Brooklyn Park tornado, and it was like one of the first times you saw a tornado from way high up in the sky looking down at it. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, the Netflix, there's a documentary now on Netflix about the Joplin, Missouri tornado that is it's a tough watch, man. It's hard to even imagine just how incredibly devastating those things can be. As we are in spring, it's tornado season, but you know what comes after tornado season for this guy? Golf season. And the 2025 Tee It Up Golf Card number 3, presented by Club Champion, is on sale now. Golf 7 area courses, and if you do this, you will save over $200. More information or to get it all locked down, text the word golf to 651-989 rock. It is Friday. That's good news. It's April 11th.
Yeah, it is.
That's good news. There's a lot of good news out there in the world. We're feeling Minnesota, which is my way of saying here's the stories you need to know about. Paul, give me some headlines, baby.
Minnesota drivers are being warned about the new wave of fraudulent messages claiming to come from the official Easy Pass program, or MnDOT. They're not. It's a scam. Text and email messages are being sent across the state and, by all accounts, across the country.
Yep.
Falsely claiming the recipient owes money for tolls and must pay immediately through a link provided. But don't be fooled. MnDOT says we would never ask for this stuff from you, and you're going to compromise yourself if you give it up.
If they ever say you need to pay them money quickly, immediately, if they put the pressure on, my media training tells me that's a scam.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it's government, nothing happens quickly.
Yeah. No one's gonna text your phone from a country code that's not 1 saying you owe Easy Pass money. My daughter got one of those, and it was from the Philippines. The number was +63 blah 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 blah, and she's like, "This is a scam, right?" And I'm like, "Well, have you been to Manila lately? If not, it's probably a scam."
This one's tough. All right, we're gonna absorb this. NASA has provided new analysis of the first observation of a planet being swallowed by a star.
Was it Earth?
No,
Okay,
it's
then-
located 12,000 light years from Earth.
Oh my God.
However, this is the same process by which Earth is expected to be going through our sun in 5 billion years, possibly.
Sneak preview.
Basically, it's so it was a star that was suggesting it was growing into a red giant and going to be subsuming a Jupiter-sized planet in its orbit. But
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. After that, you lose me.
But the thing is, like, just the fact that there are people on Earth that can
make
sense of it, but explain it at least in some manner that we can understand.
Over 50 years ago, we sent men to the moon in a toaster oven. So smart people have been doing this stuff for a while.
With the computing power of what a modern calculator.
Yeah,
is that right?
I say, let the nerds do their thing, man. Thank God for science, because I don't get it, but I appreciate it.
KFC doesn't want to just be in your kitchen anymore. They want to be in your bathroom. The chicken people have partnered with His Smile. They're a toothpaste company to release KFC toothpaste, which is inspired by the 11 herbs and spices
His Smile.
Of a bucket of chicken.
Well, of course I'm smiling. It tastes like chicken, don't I? How about the snog? Give us one, love. Brushing your teeth with KFC-flavored toothpaste.
Yeah, you think it sounds great. You want in.
Yeah. Assuming it actually works as toothpaste, if it's helping my dental hygiene, why not have toothpaste that tastes like something other than mint or baking soda?
Because I just want mint. That's why.
How about let's get our friends, any number of local breweries could give me a beer-flavored toothpaste. Why not?
Yes.
Oh, cotton candy.
Let's
beer
go,
paste.
Shells. Let's get some Greenbelt toothpaste going.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on,
there you
man.
go.
I'm
Beer
all for
paste.
it.
That has a ring to it.
It does have a ring to it.
It's available on His Smile website for $13. It has been selling out, but if you're interested, you might be able to get a hold of some.
Of course it has.
Share with Steve if you do.
I know people who would apply KFC cologne if such an animal existed.
And I know women who would find that attractive.
I like to separate all this stuff from my toothpaste. Like, I just want toothpaste, and I want my food to be food. And
well, we're not going to force you here.
No, I know.
Okay.
I realize it's a safe place. I'm done. That's all I got.
You're set in your ways, and I'm not going to judge you for that. Not on air, anyway.
No.
Hey, here's a couple of sports headlines for you. The Masters kicked off yesterday. Rory McIlroy blew up on the 15th. It was pretty fantastic, actually. He was playing great golf, and he got hyper-aggressive on his approach, put the ball in the water. His confidence shattered. He limped into the clubhouse. There's nothing quite like the drama of watching a man self-immolate at Augusta National. Someone does it every year. Yesterday it was Rory. Thankfully, it was Thursday, not Sunday. We'll see if he can get himself back in to the weekend contention. Justin Rose is your clubhouse leader at 7 under. That will not last if history is any indicator. But most importantly, Jose Luis Ballester, a 21-year-old Spanish amateur, noticed at some point along the way, he was on the 13th hole. He's like, what's that weird feeling I have? Oh, that's right. I need to take a leak. He forgot about the fact that, hey, they have restrooms right to the side of the tee box. He took matters into his own hand. I guess he saw Ray's Creek, the famous little waterway, that trickling water sound. It was just too much for him to resist the urge.
I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like really loud, so that was kind of funny. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me, so if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
I love a kid just peeing at the Masters. Just go for it, man. That will be talked about for years.
How did he score?
Not very well.
Okay.
As you heard him say, the greatest applause he got all day was when people saw him peeing into Ray's Creek.
You know what? I heard that and I just didn't even. But you'd think if he has a psyche like that, maybe he doesn't buckle under pressure.
I would imagine he does not. The Minnesota Timberwolves bounced back from that horrific loss a few nights ago in Milwaukee. They laid it down to the Memphis Grizzlies, put up 141 points last night. They are now in a tie for 6th place in the West. There are 6 teams within 2 games of each other in the standings with 2 games left to play. The T-Wolves, the Grizzlies, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Warriors, all with 2 games left. This is going to be a sensational weekend for the playoff picture. You got the OKC Thunder and the Houston Rockets just kicking back going, okay, you guys fight it all out. We'll see who we get. Yes. The Timberwolves, all they can do is win their final 2 games. That might be enough to get them as high as a 3 seed. We'll have to see how it shakes out.
Wow, that sounds like a dream scenario for the NBA.
It is absolutely that. Yes. Yeah, the Eastern Conference does not matter. All the power is in the West, and man, they are going to be hammering it out over the weekend. That's an exciting final weekend of NBA basketball regular season, that is. Want to give a quick shout out to Chanhassen. Woo, baby. Chanhassen, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us.
They're going to have a good time this May.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They absolutely will. So we were discussing earlier the fact that this is not cold and flu season; it's tornado and thunderstorm season. And I asked if anybody had ever been very close to a lightning strike. Red sent in a text that will, well, you know what? I'm going to share it with you because I read it and it sent a shiver up my spine.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. I asked if anybody had been close to a lightning strike or even, well, I guess worse, have you ever been in a lightning strike? No confirmation of anybody being hit themselves yet, but this is pretty darn close. On the KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK, let us know if you have a similar story. Red texted, and I shall read this text. I was in the shower in the lower level basement of my home before going to work. There was an early morning thunder and lightning storm. As I was shampooing my hair, there was a lightning strike, and I believe it hit the ground and went into the aquifer. We had well water. All of a sudden, my feet were being shocked.
Oh.
Didn't knock me on my ass, but I jumped out of that shower in a flash.
Yeah.
Like the special effects in a movie, Zoom. I got to say that morning, the shower woke me up like no other. How?
I just puckered up, not with my mouth. I mean somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then it went directly up my spine.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough one. I was at my girlfriend's house when I was in college, and a bunch of us were in the front yard. Just a couple of baseball gloves and a ball, literally just having a game of catch. Me and two of her brothers, and then a couple of other guys and girls in the families, a big family. They were all just gathered around. It was just like an afternoon in the 80s when you didn't have the internet or cable, and you just did things like have a catch.
Yeah.
And we were standing there, and there was definitely a storm coming in. We were aware of it. And, of course, suddenly you have to get those last few throws in because it's about to rain. And there was a very large old oak tree in the yard at the other side of the yard. And just without any warning, not one bit of thunder yet, no lightning, no rain, one bolt of lightning just hit the top of that tree. And there was 7 or 8 of us all in the yard. And a giant branch came down, and man, oh man.
Scattered.
I'm sure we all screamed, but no one heard a word. The ground shook, and it was just a colossal explosion of noise when that thing hit. I mean, it was the adrenaline went for minutes and minutes and minutes. It was fantastic in hindsight.
In hindsight, for sure. In the moment, though, but I just, it's hard to put into words as I'm displaying right now how loud that is when you're even remotely close.
Yep, it's impossible.
Unreal.
I had that. There's 2 moments with storms that just come out like none other. There's that one, and then the one time I saw a tornado in person, and I only saw it during a lightning strike. So for a flash of light, as a huge field lit up, I saw a tornado, and then it went back to pitch black again.
Wow.
So, at school, looking out across a huge yard, dark room, lights on in the building, pitch black outside, and lightning's flashing. And my brother and I are just watching the lightning bolts, like, cool. And then one goes, whoo, and all of a sudden we're like,
not cool.
Not cool at all. And we went running, screaming, there is a tornado coming. It didn't come our way, thankfully, but we had no idea of knowing that when we saw it for the 0.2 of a second that lightning illuminated the ground. Another text, 651-989-ROCK. Let us know what you got. I had a lightning strike across the street and hit my neighbor's tree. It fried out my brand new 65-inch TV. That's tragic.
Bummer.
That's
how
tragic.
long ago? Because
not cool.
If that was a few years ago and it's a 65-inch, that's an expensive TV.
Here's another one. Lightning strike was on the toilet when my house was hit by lightning. I fell off the toilet. One second I'm sitting there. Next second I'm on the floor with my pants around my ankles. Garage door, microwave, TV, all fried.
Wow.
And bowels cleared.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Absolutely.
There's always a silver lining.
A cornucopia is not even going to help you in that situation.
Metamucil. Who's that? Just give me a lightning strike. I'll be cleared to go. It works every single time. 651-989-ROCK is your talk and text line if you want to let us know about your particular lightning strike situation. Feel free to share them with us.
92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Foo Fighters, times like these, couple things come to mind. I can't believe it's 3 years since Taylor Hawkins died, and I always forget that song isn't an acoustic song played by Dave Grohl while he's crying.
Right.
Because ever since the Wembley performance, That's how I hear that song.
Right.
Yeah.
When it kicks in, I'm always like, oh, yeah, this is like a full song with a big rock thing happening.
Such a beautiful
But
song.
the minute he played that bad boy at Wembley Stadium, that's how I will forever hear that song.
Yeah.
Whew, man.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. We've been talking about lightning strikes, crazy storm stories here on the morning show, which we call Gorman in the Morning. And, man, did we get a lot of text messages and a few phone calls. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Who we got? Dan from Minneapolis, I believe, is on the horn. Dan, Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you got for us?
You know where the Courage Center is over in Golden Valley, right off of Sweeney Lake?
I'll take your word for it.
I do. Sure, Dan.
Okay, well, I was down there back in the 80s, and I was fishing, and it was a nice sunny day. The lake was like glass. My line's laying flat. All of a sudden, I got the tingly feeling. Oof. My hair started standing up, and all of a sudden, the line lifted up off the water and bowed. So I reeled in, and I looked behind me, and I seen the storm cloud coming, so I ran to the car, and no sooner than I reached the car, the tree that I had been standing next to got struck and split.
Ooh. Man. Sometimes the universe gives you a tap on the shoulder, and if you're smart enough to listen, you get out of there.
And that's where the spine tingle that we just both simultaneously experience comes from.
Yep, that's exactly
the
it.
Nature thing. Yeah.
Whew, glad you're still with us, Dan.
I'm impressed you didn't soil yourself, Dan.
Yeah, and that's one of two. But,
have we verified?
What's that?
Have we verified Dan didn't soil himself?
I live in Minneapolis.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know.
Dan, thanks for the call, brother. We appreciate it. That just reminded me, probably 15 years ago, I walked out of my house. This is in Nashville. Walked out the front door, and our next door neighbor's tree, they had a giant branch that went across my whole front yard. It's an old established tree, giant branch. It's been there for as long as we've lived in the house. And it was a day like April or May, beautiful sunny day, not an ounce of weather anywhere. And I walked out the front door as I'd done hundreds, if not thousands of times, and I walked under that branch, and I just stopped, and I looked up at it, and I was like, that thing would do some damage if it ever came down. Like, it had never occurred to me. I got in my car. I was 2 blocks away, and Rosemary called me, and she was like, that giant branch just fell in our front yard.
No.
I'm not kidding. I was 2 stop signs away. I spun around, raced back. There must have been something in the energy around that tree that branch was weakening, but I didn't hear a pop or a crack or a snap or nothing. I just noticed it and thought about it, and less than 2 minutes later, that branch was laying across my entire front yard.
Oh my God!
Close call.
Yeah,
close freaking call.
Totally insane. As a guy who loves nothing better than to go against my own gut, I'm glad that that one it got me. If nothing else, my gut said, "Don't stand under this branch anymore." 651-989-ROCK. Mary Kay from Minneapolis is on the horn. I should say. Good morning, Mary Kay.
Good morning.
What do you got for us?
Well, years ago, we were living in a trailer park in Hastings. My husband and his friends were a softball team. They came over to our house after the game, our trailer, and one of the guys needed to use the phone, so I walked him back to the bedroom. And all of a sudden, we saw a flash, and the lightning must have hit the transformer, but lightning shot right out of that phone and knocked him across the room.
Oh, good gracious.
It's like a Stephen King film.
Hurt. He got up. He was fine. Just scared, and so was I for having seen it.
Well, yeah.
Did you have a patch of hair missing or anything anywhere?
No, it was fine. It just, scared the heck out of us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That'll do it. Thank you for the call, Mary Kay. On the text line, someone texted in, I was at Hazeltine when a person was killed by a lightning strike during the PGA. I remember that, 1991. I think it was the U.S. Open, wasn't it? There was a lightning strike. A bunch of people got struck, and one of them died. Like 5 or 6 people were struck, if memory serves. Yeah, that was crazy at a major golf tournament. All of a sudden that happens.
That is crazy. I was a junior in high school, and so I would have been like, I don't care. I'm sure. So I don't remember that, but that would, like, my adult self would be like, Yikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
that was
terrifying.
That was some scary business right there. More texts and calls. Please feel free. 651-989-ROCK. We still have a little business to take care of today because Ryder has to damn near save her marriage. I won't let you forget, Ryder. I promise. You got it next.
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
Oh, Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. There's a little something from last night. Anybody that was at the gig appreciates being reminded that you just got your brains bashed in by a badass rock and roll band called AC/DC.
So freaking good.
I my favorite Brian Johnson interview ever, someone said, "What's Thunderstruck about?" He goes, "Well, I think Thunderstruck's about Thunderstruck. It's about the song, really. That's all it's about." And I was like, "Yeah, that's really true.
It's just a rock anthem. That's all there is to it.
I always think about the fact Brian Johnson joined that band. He was in his early 30s. He'd already kind of given up his music. He thought it was over. He missed his chance.
It's crazy.
And then you get a call to go play with AC/DC. And then, like you said, Ryder, like they opened last night with "If You Want Blood, You Got It." That's a Bon Scott era song.
Yes.
You're Brian Johnson, and you get to come into a band. Not only do you record an album right out of the gate called Back in Black, then you get to go sing all those other songs that they did with Bon, and you spend the rest of your life just going like, okay, the songs that I'm writing and a part of are amazing. And the songs they did before I got here are amazing.
Yes.
And I'm just going to pick and choose and go up there and be this guy. I mean, just a salt of the earth fella too, Brian
I think
Johnson.
they call that being a charmed life.
That's a pretty charmed existence for sure.
Real quick on Brian Johnson, he sounded great. I know that's always a question when you're thinking about these rockers who have been doing it for a real long time, but he sounded exactly like he's supposed to sound.
That's awesome really nice to hear. He's had a rough few years with his hearing and other things, so it's great that he's back up in tour shape.
I'm just getting more and more FOMO as the show goes along. Oh, darn it!
Thunder strikes, but how about lightning strikes as well? We've been talking about a lot of text messages and phone calls coming in. This text I'm just reading. Parents laying in bed watching it arch across the suspended ceiling. It went into the electrical outlet in my sister's room, made the old black and white TV glow, melted the plug. I replaced the end of the plug. The TV still worked. So, hey, there's that. There's that at least. I was at a boat ramp putting my boat in during the storm, or rather taking my boat out. It was storming, standing next to my boat. Hair started to stand on my arms and legs started to tingle. Lightning strike was just feet away. It threw rocks and sand all over me. The noise was unbelievable. The power of the electricity, you could just feel. That's from Bill. Yeah, I said I was very close to a lightning strike, too. And it's just the hair on your body is standing up for minutes, not moments. It's like, would you please lay down hair on my arm? I didn't know I had that much until it was standing straight up.
That connection between a human and nature is just like, it's like the space stuff we talked about during headlines, right? Where you just can't comprehend it, but it's there for a reason, man. It's just
we're the only animals that would dare say, well, hang on, really? Is something about to happen? Any other, be a horse or a dog or an earthworm when you're in a storm. Yeah. They know exactly what's up.
They're running long before we are.
And there we are going, it's not going to strike this tree.
That siren doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's how that stuff goes. We got a lot of things, I'm sure we all do, I should say, to look forward to this weekend. But Ryder, my gosh, please make sure that everything's okay with the home fires.
Front? Yes. Yeah. So the first thing that's going to happen if I don't do this right now is somebody's going to say to me, well, you guys didn't mention Record Store Day. So just a heads up, if you're into music, tomorrow is Record Store Day. Pretty much every store in the States is going to do fun, special stuff. My heart goes out to Down in the Valley, where I'm going to be playing Celebrity Cashier as required by my marriage vows. So
beautiful.
You don't have to get up in the middle of the night and go wait in line or whatever. Stores do a lot of stocking of used stuff, and just pop in the afternoon and check it out, especially if you haven't been in a while.
Down in the Valley and Golden Valley, specifically if you want to see Ryder's lovely face. Because, I mean, you can go to like Maple Grove, but you're not going to get the same effect.
I would recommend that, but if you can't get there, go somewhere, because Record Store Day is just a cool hang wherever it is celebrated.
It's special, for sure.
It absolutely is. Gorman in the Morning. We'll be back Monday morning. In between now and then, gee, what are you doing right now, Paul Fletcher?
I think I'll probably hang out for a few more hours and play some of the best music known to mankind.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live, or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.